How to be a good volleyball player. Controversial opinion, but I think 3 things need to be true in order to be a good player, and I don't believe that any of these things actually have to do with your current skill. Consistently evolve, be self-aware, face your ego. That's it, short and sharp, no fluff. But if you're interested in finding out more, stick around. I'm Chapman, and I'm here to guide you to become a better volleyball player, and in turn, become a coach to our community. So in order to answer how to be a good player, we have to understand a little context. First, what actually makes a good player? The response you'd hear from most people would be someone who's playing well. But is that really all there is to it? If you think back to when you first started volleyball, I'm sure there were a number of players around who you thought were good. But as time went on, you got better, your opinion changed, and now you think they're just okay, or maybe even bad. Why is that the case? Well, the answer is in the last point. It's your opinion. Good and bad are subjective. People apply them based on a comparison point. So, as you might label yourself good or bad compared to others or a standard, other players are labeling themselves against you. In short, being a good player, in a traditional sense, is a forever moving goalpost based on who's judging. Letting good and bad dictate your journey is a wasteful exercise. So, I have an alternative take on what makes a good player. A good player is an evolving player. They are players who are ever changing and building upon themselves. There is no right or wrong with how they play. There are simply behaviors and drivers that deliver different results and outcomes. Good players are ones who do not judge themselves, but observe how they are in each moment, and they allow changes to happen to deliver the desired results. They're not bound by bad habits and understand that each behavior can be used as a tool in the right context. This is our first point. To be good, you have to evolve. So if a good player is an evolving player, how do you evolve? Point 2, be self-aware. You have to discover what motivates you to play and what you truly value as good. Think of the moments when you've experienced the most joy in volleyball. Did you win or lose that match? Was it the results that mattered? Or was it that you played exceptionally well and the win or loss didn't mean anything? Perhaps there were moments where you looked good and spectators cheered for you, and that's what brought you joy. What is your reason for playing? Regardless of what your reason is, you have to be self-aware to your primary motivation, and it should inform what you do to become good. For most people, chasing this label of good means a journey of evolution and self-improvement. If you aren't improving and others are, you're not actually staying the same, you're actually getting worse. I bet you're thinking, that's obvious. No one wants to be left behind. Of course, good players are the ones who want to improve. You're trying to improve. Why else would you be playing? If it's so obvious, then why do some players not make improvements despite years of playing? Reflect on your own journey. Are you making year-on-year improvements? Are they coming at a rate that you want? The reality is, making improvements isn't guaranteed. If you don't make physical or technical changes, how can you expect to improve or for your results to be any different? I'm sure this is widely known, yet the majority of people still struggle with this. They know they need to change to be better, but they don't. Why don't we dive into this and start with yourself? Think of a time when you weren't performing well. How did you react in that moment? Did you get frustrated or upset? Where did you place that frustration? Was it at yourself, at others, or events that were happening? If someone told you in that moment that your reaction wasn't helping, would you have stopped? Deep down, we know these knee-jerk reactions aren't helpful to our progress. They stop us from being in the moment and playing each point. But why do we do it? It stems from our ego. We become our own worst enemies and only care about the outcome. We don't want to face the truth that, sometimes we just don't play well, and look to other reasons outside of our control as to why we're not performing. These are the same excuses that stop us from focusing on ourselves and what's needed to improve. Ego is blinding to awareness. Awareness that is needed to know where or what to improve on. We know we want to pass, set, hit better, but what changes do we actually need to make? This is the third point of being a good player, acknowledging and facing our ego. Now I'm sure you're thinking, but I know someone who keeps improving, they don't seem to care about anything you're talking about. This is just another excuse that people create for their own lack of improvement. The reality is that there is such a thing as gifted athletes. we're not all created equal. These players may make significant changes throughout their playing career without ever needing to consciously try. However, although they're gifted, this doesn't exempt them from how improvement is made. Their evolution is driven by exposure like anyone else, and their technique evolves to meet new outcomes. Have you ever asked someone gifted how they're able to perform a certain skill? The response returned was likely something that was taught to them growing up. But if you observe them performing the skill, are they really following their own advice? Why do we see discrepancies in what they think they're doing and what they're actually doing? It's because it becomes natural to them. Their awareness and understanding is driven internally. It's why the best way for youth athletes to improve is to play a lot, or to just be exposed to a lot of different sports. So that was a lot of information, but what does it actually mean for you? Well, although we all can't be gifted athletes, we can still make improvements by conquering your challenges to consistently evolve. Be self-aware to why you play the game and what actually makes you want to improve. Face your ego and don't make excuses for what's outside of your control. In the end, you need to be honest about your current journey and hold yourself accountable to making improvements. Short video, how to be a good volleyball player. Consistently evolve, be self-aware, face your ego. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. I'll be dropping more videos relating to the topic of improvement to inspire more athletes to take charge of their learning. All the topics I plan to cover can also be applied to coaching, and hopefully they'll motivate you to consider giving back to our community as a coach. If you're actually interested in being coached, I will be running volleyball courses and training sessions throughout the off-season. But until then, be seeing you